and welcome to Central News for Wednesday, the 20th of November. I'm Harriet Wilson. In today's news, last year's Have a Go Day was such a success that another event organised by CCS Disability Action and Waikato Regional Council is being held on Tuesday the 3rd of December between 10:30am and 12:30pm. Have a Go Day provides a safe, non-threatening environment for disabled passengers to ask questions and to have a go at getting on the bus, buying a ticket and putting on the seatbelt fitted for wheelchair users. Jerry Pomeroy from CCS Disability Action Waikato says the day has had a fantastic response, as many people have previously been worried about how to get on board.
The Have a Go Day is important because it gives disabled people an opportunity to gain confidence when using public transport, and it's a non-pressured environment so they can really experiment and discover for themselves how to use public transport.
Tauronga's youngest competitor heading off to the Special Olympics National Summer Games this month got a warm-up yesterday afternoon, running an Olympic torch through the city. Te Huia Apapa, who is 17, was the first of 46 Tauranga Special Olympics competitors to run the torch through the city. The athletes were given a police escort through the city as they promoted their achievement of making the Dunedin-based games, where they will compete against 1,100 other Kiwis from throughout the country. Tauranga City Councillors will no longer be able to raise their concerns outside of protocol after voting in favour of removing the open forum from its standard meeting agendas. At yesterday's meeting, councillors voted 8-3 in favour of removing the forum, following a lengthy discussion, with councillors Catherine Stewart, Rich Curich and Steve Morris in support of retaining the forum. There is concern that dropping the forum goes against the new council's intention of taking the community with them in future decisions, restricting new opportunities and helping instill council confidence in the public. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton tomorrow will bring you long fine spells and light breezes. Your expected high is 23 with an overnight low of 11. Tauranga Thursday will bring you a few showers and northeasterly breezes. Your expected high is 22 with an overnight low of 14. Just ahead, growing giant pumpkins. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. November is planting time for the 2014 Pumpkin Carnival. Giant pumpkin plants are distributed to schools, families, retirement villages and individuals who wish to take up the challenge and grow a giant pumpkin. I went to speak to the carnival organisers to find out just what it takes. So where and when is this carnival next year?
The carnival is held on the rhododendron lawn at the Hamilton Gardens, beautiful venue, and it's on Sunday the 30th of March next year.
And what do people have to do if they want to be involved?
Well, there's a number of things. Just come along and enjoy a fun family day is one thing, but we are selling pumpkin plants and pumpkin seeds at the moment if anyone wants to grow a big one or a miniature one, because there's categories for all these different things. And there's also, if you don't grow one, you can make a creation and all that stuff. So yeah, lots of different options.
Now tell us about the different categories.
Yeah, lots of categories and they're all on our website. But if people want to grow, they can grow a big one, and we have the classes for over 200 kilograms and under 200 kilograms. We also have miniature pumpkins, and we have the prettiest pumpkin and the ugliest pumpkin, and pumpkin creations and carved pumpkins and pumpkin cooking. And we've got a new category this year called Autumn Harvest, which is just making a container up in autumn colours and at least three pieces of garden produce.
And Sam, how did it go last year? What were some of the biggest pumpkins?
Last year was a really good turnout, and we had one grower that came first and second for the heaviest, and that was Tim Harris. He grew a 577 kilo pumpkin and a 439 kilo to get second place. And then they just went down from there, and this year he's hoping to grow something bigger and better to bring to next year's carnival.
Now tell us about these seeds and how they grow to be so big.
The seeds that you need are called Atlantic Giant, and they originated from Canada many years ago. And as long as you have Atlantic Giant, you can grow a giant pumpkin. When the top growers start looking into it, it all goes down to genetics and family trees of the pumpkins.
Are there any secrets, tricks or tips when it comes to growing a giant pumpkin?
You need a lot of luck. Need a lot of luck and Atlantic Giant seeds, a lot of watering, and just making sure that it doesn't rot out.
And why would you encourage people to get involved with the growing of the pumpkins or come down to attend the carnival next year?
I think if you come along to the carnival, you'll see things that you probably haven't seen before, and a lot of people will say, is this pumpkin for real? Especially when they're over 500 kilos. They're definitely for real. They're a great big pumpkin. People should give it a go, especially if they haven't grown anything before. Once they realise how easy it is to grow a giant pumpkin or a miniature pumpkin, it can get them started in growing other more edible produce in their own garden, and the kids love it too.
So what advice would you give to people who may already be growing these giant pumpkins?
Keep watering them, use some organic fish-based fertiliser helps. Think about shading your pumpkin later on in the season when it gets quite big. The sun can dry out the outside of the skin, but the inside keeps growing, and that's when you'll get your pumpkin splitting before it's ready for harvest. Think about putting something underneath your pumpkin, either a board or sand, that helps reduce the friction as it grows bigger and bigger. And don't bury the vines near the pumpkin. You don't want it anchored down as the pumpkin grows up, or it'll snap the stem off the end. And if you want any more information, you can check out giantpumpkins.co.nz, where there's a whole bunch of different stuff there.
So what happens to the pumpkins afterwards?
At the carnival, we get everyone rounded up, whoever wants to have a go, and we roll them down a hill, and we watch them all explode and go everywhere. And then we get everyone together to see who can make the biggest pulp pile they can. We came up with that competition after we both shoveled it the first year, and it took us a long time. And all the leftover stuff just ends up going to a local farmer, and he feeds his cows.
And what else will be happening at the carnival?
Oh, lots of things. It's a really fun family day. We have a surprise this year, and I'm not saying watch this space, is what I'm saying about that one. But we have bouncy castles, and we have face painting, and lots of key things to keep everyone amused. We have the old-fashioned races for the children, like the three-legged and that sort of thing.
Egg and spoon,
Yep.
Pumpkin and spade for the dads.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's entertainment all day.
How long has this event been running, and how did it all start up?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. This is our 5th year at the Hamilton Gardens, and it sort of started, it was my idea, and it was really an inspiration because I knew that we grew giant pumpkins, and I knew that we took the seed and grew seedlings from it, but then nothing happened. And we were having lunch this day in the kitchen gardens, and it sort of got a hold of me and wouldn't go away. So before that lunch had finished, I talked to the director of the gardens and the chap in charge of the kitchen garden, and they both said they thought it was a good idea. So I went off and did some homework and came back with a bit of a presentation to put before them about what we could do. And it's all grown from there. It's grown each year.
And how can we find out more?
You can find out more by having a look at our website. It's got all the details that you'll need there, and it's thegreatpumpkincarnival.co.nz, and also has a link to Facebook and has miles of photos on from the last year or so, so that'll give everyone a good idea. If anybody out of Hamilton is wanting to grow, then they're very welcome to give me a call, and I can get some seeds to them. And my phone number is Hamilton 854 5436.
To register or find out more, visit giantpumpkins.co.nz. Just ahead, water skiing on the Waikato River. Welcome back. The 2013 Bridge to Bridge Water Ski Classic celebrates 30 years of extreme water sports on the Waikato River this November. The race will run from the 29th of November to the 1st of December and provides a spectacular weekend of boat and water ski racing. I spoke with Brad, who tells us more. Tell us about what happens on Friday night in Hood Street.
Well, the Friday night's a really good kick-off to the weekend. All the competitors get to meet and greet each other. It's a great chance for the spectators to come check out the boats up close and personal. And just a real good start to the weekend. Everyone starts telling stories about how fast they're going and what they're going to be up to for the weekend, and get to mix and mingle with the public as well, which is real good in Hood Street.
And what will be happening on the water over the weekend?
Yep, starting first thing on Saturday morning, we've got our novice and masters, so our new guys and our old guys, I guess, of our sport, and also our under-13s, the sub-juniors. That's the first race of the day. Then we've got the family class, which is sort of all our social and family recreational type competitors. Then is the next event is the time trial, which is the seeding for the main event, which is on Sunday. That runs from Hamilton to Ngaruawahia in return. And then the final event for the Saturday is the poke run, which is grab your mates, your friends, and jump in the boat. And it's basically best a poker hand of cards wins $500 cash. So that's a great event for anyone that owns a boat to get into. Sunday is the powerboat sprints, which everyone really looks forward to, and all the big boats gear up with just boats only. And then the main race of the weekend starts at Cambridge at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, which runs through to Taupri and then back to Hamilton, finishing sort of around 3:30.
And how about the activities off the water?
Yeah, off the water this year we've got a lot happening, more so than usual. We've got a lot of amusements and rides and stuff for the kids, family entertainment, a lot of competitions run by our radio station sponsor, Radio Hauraki, and plenty of off-water competition, wheel changing competitions from a few of our other sponsors, and a fair bit of stuff going on, so should be plenty off the water as well as on.
Who competes in the races, or who can enter?
Yep, well, there's plenty of options if you're a water skier or a jet skier or a Thundercat boat racer. So there's not only for the hardcore ski race guys, which obviously they all are very aware of the event because it is the premier event in the country for them. But if you're a beginner water skier or an experienced water skier that just skis recreationally, they're able to enter, obviously in the family class. And then we have our powerboat racing, jet skis, Thundercats, and then the poker run, which is really an all-comers event that anyone can do that owns a boat. So a big range of competitors, both social and serious.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the race?
Yep, so this year is a significant milestone for the Bridge to Bridge. We're 30 years this year, so it's a pretty cool thing, I guess, for the event to get to 30 years. And I guess over the years the sport's changed a lot. Obviously the engines and boats are a lot faster these days. The skiers are more professional, I guess. They train a lot more and take it a lot more seriously, and the speeds, I guess, is probably the biggest thing that's changed. I guess to win the race back in the 80s and 90s, the times for the main race was sort of early 40, 41, 42 minutes. These days they're getting down to 33, 34 minutes, so a lot faster, and the guys are just a lot more professional and have to be serious because they're going big speeds, big numbers, over 100 mile an hour for some of the teams. So that's probably the ways it's changed over the last 30 years. And
what are you most excited about seeing, or what are some highlights we should be watching out for? Personally,
I think we've got a big offshore cat race boat that's going to be racing the powerboat sprint, so it's like a 35-foot boat, which is pretty huge to be on the river. So that makes a lot of noise and is always good to see. There's a guy called Mark Cromie who comes down from Whangarei every year with his jet boat, and he's always impressive. And also just the battle between the top boats in the main race, the main ski race. It was a really close race last year, and those guys are all returning this year with similar sort of teams. So that was really tight time-wise last year, so I think it should be similar this year as well. And then just also catching up with everyone. I guess the Bridge to Bridge is all about everyone getting together that has the same sort of interest in water skiing and powerboating and being in the same place all on one weekend, so it should be good.
And where are the best locations to observe the racing?
I guess the hub for the event is Grantham Street Boat Ramp, which is right in the middle of Hamilton, underneath the Bridge Street Bridge. That's basically the start-finish line for all the races. So that's the best place to be. It's where all the commentary, I'll be doing the commentary from there, and where all the action with all the giveaways and prizes and entertainment is going to be. So that's probably the best place to be. To stay informed and know what's going on, but also there's any spot along the river where you can see, on the banks of the river is going to be a great place to be, because there's going to be plenty happening.
And how can people find out more?
Find out more by going to www.skirace.co.nz, or just coming into Rollo's Marine, which are our naming rights sponsor, and talk to the guys there. They know all about it. Yeah.
And that website to visit for more information was skirace.co.nz. Coming up next, Undercover Cody and his new roadshow. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. The Cancer Society's SunSmart turtle mascot, Undercover Cody, has hit the road with a brand new summer roadshow. After last year's success, the SunSmart team is excited to once again travel the region and educate children on how to be safe in the sun. I caught up with Cancer Society's Sarah Fitzpatrick to hear more. So what made your team decide to run the roadshow again this year?
Well, last year we celebrated Undercover Cody's 10th birthday, and so we took Cody out on tour across the region with his first roadshow, and it was a huge success and it was lots of fun. So we thought, let's do it again.
And what is this year's show all about?
Undercover Cody takes the kids on an imaginary trip to the beach, but first they've got to get ready for the beach by making sure they've got all their SunSmart behaviours down pat, so slip, slop, slap and wrap.
How many early childhood centres will the show visit this year?
Goes to 150 early childhood centres across the Waikato and Bay of Plenty, but that's over 3 weeks. And it's going right up from the Coromandel, from Opotiki down to Turangi. So it's a pretty big distance to cover.
And you're not doing any schools this year?
No, last year we went to primary schools, and so this year we thought we'd change it up a little bit and hit the younger age group and go to early childhood centres. But we've also recently announced that SunSmart grant scheme, which is going to primary schools, and so they can apply and receive funding towards SunSmart resources like trees and sun hats and permanent shade structures.
Why is it important for children to understand how to protect themselves from the sun at a young age?
Well, research has actually shown that it's that damage that the sun causes at their younger ages that causes skin cancer in later years. So it's really important that you teach those behaviours early so that they're protected in later life.
And what will children get out of the show?
Well, they get to meet Undercover Cody for one thing, so that's always really exciting. But they also get to learn about how to be SunSmart, and that it's really easy and that it's really fun to be SunSmart. Plus, all of the early childhood centres that get visited will receive a little bundle of SunSmart goodies.
How can parents go on to reinforce these messages at home?
Well, the best thing for them to do is actually to practice SunSmart behaviours themselves. So when they put the sunscreen and a hat on their kid to take them out, do it themselves. Make sure you buy your own hat that's real SunSmart, and show them that it's fun and easy to do. And research has also shown that children often copy the adults around them and imitate them, and that those are the most effective ways to teach those behaviours.
And what about schools and early childhood centres? How can they make sure that they're providing a safe place for students and communities?
Well, it's really important for schools and early childhood centres to provide SunSmart environments, because children spend the majority of their time there during the highest points of UV radiation between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And so it's really important that they provide those environments by having ample shade available, making sure kids are wearing sun hats and sunscreen, that they're coming in if they're spending too much time outdoors, and that they follow those SunSmart rules.
Now, you also have an Undercover Cody website that kids can check out. So can you tell us what they'll find on there and what that's all about?
The website is quite a bit of fun. So there's lots of games and activities on there for kids to do. The Undercover Cody song is on there, so you can download that, and you can download the dance steps so that kids can learn it. And there's also resources on there for schools and for parents to help them teach children how to be SunSmart. So lots of fun, definitely worth a visit.
So tell us about the teams that you have travelling around to these different early childhood centres.
So we have 2 teams. So one is travelling through the kind of Bay of Plenty and Coromandel area, and one's travelling through the Waikato kind of lakes area. And there are two people in each team, and so they take turns at being Cody and narrating the story, and yeah, it's really cool.
How can kids look after themselves when they're just hanging out with their friends, maybe on the weekends, and mum and dad aren't around?
Well, again, it always comes back to those 4 SunSmart rules, so slip, slop, slap and wrap. So make sure that they've got a t-shirt on, long sleeves are really good, although it can be a bit hot in summer, but making sure that they're covered, wearing a hat with a broad brim. Caps, although stylish, are not SunSmart, I'm afraid, because you don't get your ears covered. Making sure you put on sunscreen every 2 hours, and we recommend an 30 plus broad spectrum, and then making sure you wear sunglasses to protect your eyes. So just following those simple rules and making sure your friends follow them too.
Now, I also understand that you have developed an app for Apple products, which is an Undercover Cody app. So can you tell us what that is all about?
Yes, we do. It's really exciting. Undercover Cody's app was developed last year as part of his birthday celebrations, and I'm sure you'll remember the games that you had when you were a kid of a little character dress up with kind of paper cutouts. Well, it's the 21st century version, and so you've got Undercover Cody, and you need to give him a little outfit, but you have to make sure it's SunSmart, and you can't complete the game until it is SunSmart. And it's free to download. You just need to go to the Apple App Store, and it's called Undercover. So I definitely recommend you download that.
Why in New Zealand is it so important for us to protect ourselves from the sun?
Well, New Zealand actually has one of the highest registrations of skin cancer in the world, which is a pretty scary fact. And skin cancer is actually something that's really preventable. It's something that skin damage when you're a child can actually really affect those rates when you're older, and so it's really important that we get into schools and get talking to children at that early age and making sure that they protect themselves now to protect themselves from danger later. And studies have actually shown that the registration rates of skin cancer are coming down, and it's from the dates that we've kind of started those programs helping children to become SunSmart.
If you have children who would like to visit Undercover Cody's website, help them log on to undercovercody.co.nz to have fun learning about how to stay SunSmart. That is the news for today. If you have something you want to share with us, you can email us or like us on Facebook. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us. Hilary will be back tomorrow with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Harriet Wilson. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.